We're here today with Mr. Dave Reeves, Managing Director of Calidus Resources. Dave, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much for your time, David.
Are you able to share a little bit about Calidus and the formation of the company?
Yeah, so Calidus listed in June 2017. We reversed into a 2-cent shell. We had 400,000 ounces of inferred resource at that point, focusing on the Warrawuna Gold Project up near Marble Bar in the Pilbara of WA. Since that time, we've put in over 50,000 metres of drilling. We've actually tripled the resource and came out late last week with a resource of 1.25 million ounces, just under 2 grams a tonne. And this is an ore body that's outcropping. It's over 5 kilometres long now. It's open in all directions, and really just a very simple story based around what is a growing ore resource.
2018 was very busy for the company. Are you able to show us or talk to some of the highlights?
Yeah, so obviously we've done a lot of drilling during that time, not just targeting extensions to grow that resource, but we also did some deeper drilling late last year. We saw a lot of visible gold at depth there, targeted this sort of high-grade zone called the Kopke Leader, which the old-timers used to mine back in the 1900s when mining was last occurring up in Marble Bar. And that's really given us some confidence to look at a potential underground over time. We did a lot of work on the pre-fees, all the inputs you need to gather that take time. So we did a lot of metallurgy, a lot of the inputs on geotech, on archaeological, water, etc. And all of those inputs will come together in the pre-fees that we plan to get out in Q3 this year.
And talking about this year, what are some of the highlights or some of the key milestones investors should focus on?
So obviously the pre-fees and getting a look into the economics of this project will be very important in Q3, and we'll have some news flow along the way on some of the inputs as we work through that. But the start of the year will be all about the regional upside. So this area has seen no modern exploration at all, no sequential exploration. So we did 8,000 soils last year. We'll announce 4,000 of them in the start of the year. We'll be doing some geophysics, tying that together and commencing regional exploration with 7,500 metres, kicking that off in March. And that will be targeting some anomalies that outcrop at surface. There's one that's 5 kilometres by 1 kilometre, never been drilled. So these are some of the exciting things we'll be looking at the start. Then as we progress through the year, we'll be looking more at extensional and infill drilling on the main Klondike Shear.
This part of the world, and the Pilbara in particular, has seen a lot of interest both for gold and other forms of gold. Obviously the operational side of the company is going well and advancing. Do you think you'll see more interest from investors and larger investor groups in both the project and the project area?
Yeah, look, the Pilbara I think has been heavily underexplored, and you're seeing a lot of companies doing some really good work up there on conventional gold systems. So I think there really is a lot of interest in the sector and certainly in the area. From an investor interest, I think obviously there's been a lot of interest in producers with this Aussie gold price. There's a lot of leverage there, and certainly I would hope for the sector's sake we start to see that interest come more into the explorer developers for that next tier, because there's a massive value gap between where we perceive ourselves with a market cap of 40 odd million versus once we're in production, and you'd be hoping for 150, 200 million market cap at least. So there is that re-rate that we would see coming, and it's I suppose the potential for investors.
Obviously a very busy 2018 and hitting the ground hard in 2019. A very simple story in a great part of the world. Dave, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, Dave.